Hi students, I am Dr. M. Ashraf Majroo, Professor of Community Medicine. I welcome you in the learning session of chromosomal anomalies. This is the second session on community genetics. Before moving to the agenda, I will like to have a little recap of the previous discussion. In the last session of community genetics, overall disease burden and public health strategy and scope of intervention were discussed. Genetic disorders have wide spectrum, so this session is specifically reserved for the chromosomal anomalies. The public health strategies and intervention specific to chromosomal anomalies will be discussed in this session. The agenda include classification of chromosomal anomalies, polyploidy and aneuploidies, structural anomalies of the chromosomes, risk forecasting and genetic testing, screening and early management of genetic disorders. Let's see the first agenda. This session is classification of chromosomal anomalies. The context is that generally the incidence of chromosomal anomaly is 5 to 6 per thousand live births. The abnormalities caused by number of structures, a number and structures of chromosomes. Majority of the children with chromosomal abnormalities have physical and mental defects and are usually lifetime handicap if survived. Some of the abnormalities result in miscarriages or stillbirths. Chromosome abnormality contribute about 50% of the total abortion that occurs. So this is the context. The chromosomal anomalies are divided into numerical and structural anomalies. If we look at the numerical anomalies, they are again divided into polyploidy and aneuploidy. There is a haploid number anomalies, and these are the anomalies in the individual pairs of the chromosomes. And then we have the structural errors in the chromosomes that may be in the short arm of the chromosomes known as the P arm and the long arm of the chromosomes known as the Q arm. So first we will describe the aneuploidy and polyploidy in detail in the forthcoming slides. So the polyploidy and aneuploidies. Polyploidy are the errors of haploid chromosomes as a result of chromatid fails to separate in the anaphase of meiotic division, and it may be due to multiple fertilizations. The euploid number, this is the normal arrangement of the cell chromosomes karyotype. The normal cell contains 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 46, 44 autosomes and 2 sex chromosomes. This arrangement is termed as diploid number of chromosomes, abbreviated as 2n. Then haploid arrangement, the egg and sperm cells after meiotic divisions carry 23 chromosomes, 22 are autosomes and 1 is the sex chromosome, and this arrangement is termed as haploid and it is abbreviated as N. When there is a polyploidy, in polyploidy anomalies are the multiple of haploid numbers as like 3n, 4n, 8n, etc. Here you can observe that in this cell there is a karyotypic arrangement of 3n mean, and there are 69 total number of chromosomes and these are 3 haploids. That is why it is known as triploidy. And here we have in this cell we have 4 haploid numbers and they are termed as 4n. and total number of chromosomes are 92, and this arrangement is known as tetraploidy. Now, what is the origin of tetraploidy, triploidy and tetraploidy? It is interesting to note that the triploidy and tetraploidy, they may occur due to fertilization. Here the triploidy arrangement is shown, and we can appreciate that there is double fertilization with n number of chromosomes and n number of chromosomes, and the egg is also having the haploid numbers. So 3 haploids are formed and total 69 number of chromosomes are there. So this arrangement is this is one situation. In second situation, the egg contain 2 haploid or diploid number of cells, and it is fertilized by the sperm with haploid numbers, and again the arrangement is triploidy. On the other hand, if we look at this arrangement, here the egg is haploid, but the sperm which is fertilizing the egg is diploid, and this is 69. The resultant is the 69 chromosomes are 3n arrangement. So these are the arrangement that appears through the fertilization, and there are the quadriploidies are tetraploidies are usually occur with the non-disjunctions, and here you can appreciate the diploid number of cells, and this is the zygote, and when it divides, there is a chromosomal duplication, but there is no cell division, and the total number of chromosomes become 4n, and this will then develop as an independent zygote with 92 arrangement, and this is the tetraploidy arrangement. Now we will see the aneuploidy. The aneuploidy, numerical or structural errors in the chromosomes that are expressed in specific clinical syndromes. They are known as aneuploidy. The fetuses may or may not be compatible with life. Some fetuses, they are compatible, and others are not compatible with life. If we look at the classification of aneuploidy are further divided into autosomal aneuploidy and sex-linked chromosome aneuploidy. If we look at the autosomal aneuploidies, this is the arrangement known as trisomy, where there is one extra chromosome with diploid plus 1. And the example are the Down syndrome and Edwards syndrome. And if you look at the cell, there is 2n plus 1, mean there are total 47 number of chromosomes. On the other hand, monosomies, here there is one deficient chromosome, diploid 2n arrangement minus 1 is the monosomy, and usually the fetuses are not viable in this arrangement. And if you look at the cell, there is 2n minus 1, and the total number of chromosomes are 45. If we look at the karyotype of sex-linked aneuploidies, they are again the trisomy, but in this case the trisomy is due to an extra X chromosomes, and there is a arrangement 2n plus 1 extra sex chromosome, that is the X chromosome, and this is the example of Klinefelter syndrome. Similarly, in other arrangement, there is a monosomy and one X is missing, and this is the example of Turner syndrome. And if we look at the cell arrangement, there is 2n minus X, and the arrangement is 45 chromosomes, and one X is missing in this case. So here one y is extra, x is extra, and here one x is missing. So these are the sex-linked monosomies, aneuploidies, and these are the autosomal aneuploidies. So these are the aneuploidies. We will discuss now the causes of aneuploidy. There is a wide range of error in aneuploidy development. There are the cell division errors, that is the non-disjunction and isochromosomes, and then there are fertilization errors. These are the double sperm fertilization and mosaicism and chimerism. And the other arrangement are the structural errors, that is the deletion, translocation, insertion, inversion, and so many other deletion syndromes, including the ring formation. So all these causes leads to aneuploidies. The non-disjunction aneuploidies, they are very common. And here we can explain what is the non-disjunction aneuploidy. In non-disjunction is the common cause of the aneuploidy, resulting a gamete with the extra chromosomes and another gamete with one missing chromosome. And this arrangement occur non-disjunction occur in the meiotic divisions. And if we see there is first meiotic anaphase division will result all aneuploidy gametes, two trisomic and two monosomic. If you look at the figure, here is the non-disjunction, and whole of the chromosome, double chromosome with centromere, they will move to this side, and in this arrangement there is a missing chromosome and here is the extra chromosome. And when this go into the second meiotic division, then the two chromosome will have n+1, mean the trisomic arrangements, and this is the monosomic arrangement. And if the meiotic non-disjunction occur at the second meiotic phase, then there will be different arrangement, and that is non-disjunction in second meiotic division will result in two normal and two trisomic, one monosomic gamete. Here if you see there is this is the normal arrangement, and the daughter cell will be having the normal arrangement, and here one is the missing n-1 and one is the extra. So this is the non-disjunction aneuploidy, and there are more causes, important causes, that is the mosaicism and the chimerism. They are very interesting. If you note the in mosaicism, there are two different cell lines with different cell population of genetic arrangement, and this occur after the formation of zygote. The mutation occur when the cell embryo is developing, and this mutation will lead to two different cell lines, and these different cell lines then clinically appear in the form of the trisomy or monosomies. The other is the chimerism, and in chimerism the zygotes are formed, two independent zygotes are formed, and then they ultimately fuse, and as they are derived from different zygotes, then the cambric embryo have two different cell lines, and they have the expression in the form of monosomy or trisomy or aneuploidy. So this is the chimerism. The difference is that in Mosaicism, this zygote is this is the post-zygote, and this is the pre-zygote arrangement, and then after fertilization, these two zygotes, they will fuse together. So these are the causes of aneuploidy. Here is the table showing different syndromes commonly known as the aneuploidy syndromes, and most common is the Down syndrome, that is known as trisomy 21, and the causes are the non-disjunction, translocation and mosaicism, and the incidence are 15 per 10,000. The other is the Edwards syndrome, trisomy 18, and the causes are similar to the trisomy 21, and the incidence are less than the Down syndrome, that is 3 per 10,000, and the lifespan is shorter in both Patau's syndrome, trisomy 13, and trisomy 18. But the lifespan for Down syndrome is up to 40 years. Turner syndrome monosomy is due to the deletion and isochromosomes, and the incidence are 2 per 10,000, and the lifespan is longer. Klinefelter trisomy due to non-disjunction, and the incidence are high than the trisomy 13, and the life may be normal. And then triple X syndrome and XYY syndrome, they are due to the non-disjunction. So this is the summary table of clinical syndrome associated with aneuploidies. Now we will move to the structural abnormalities of chromosomes. If we look at the structural abnormalities, there is a breakage followed by loss or rearrangement of the chromosome material. The deletion, translocation, ring chromosomes, inversion, insertion leads a partial loss of chromosomes. Generally, the loss of chromosome material is more dangerous than the gain. Abnormalities of sex chromosomes are better tolerated than the autosomes, as you have appreciated in the previous slide. The abnormalities of sex chromosomes sometimes symptomatic in adult age. Usually the origin of de novo, both parents and siblings are normal, but they may be inherited in some cases. Then the causes of structural errors the structural errors observed in the chromosomes are the most common is the translocation. Here a part of chromosome is attached to the other chromosome, usually in the homologous pairs, but sometimes there is imbalance when this arrangement is on non-homologous chromosomes. The translocation occurs when piece of one chromosome breaks off and attached to another chromosome. The other is the deletion syndrome. It is simply a part of chromosome is deleted, and that causes the clinical syndrome. Deletion occurs when chromosome break and some genetic material is lost. It can be large or small and can occur anywhere along the chromosome. The other arrangement is the inversion. In inversion, and there is inversion of arrangement of chromosome material, and it also causes loss of chromosome. It involves the breakage of chromosome in two places, and resulting piece of DNA is reversed and reinserted into the chromosome. And the genetic material may or may not be lost as a result of breakage. Then isochromosome is another anomaly. Here the centromere dividing, instead of vertically, it divides horizontally, and the chromosome is broken into two pieces. But this arrangement is known as isochromosome. A isochromosome of two identical arms, instead of one long Q arm and other short P arm, an isochromosome has two long arms and two short arms, and it is due to horizontal division of centromere. Then insertion, an insertional segment of the chromosome is deleted and transferred to a new position in some other chromosome, or occasionally into the homologous, or even somewhere else within the same chromosome. So this is the insertion of genetic material. Then ring chromosome is the most common category of structural derangement that causes the monosomy and the deletion syndromes. A chromosome break into two places, and the ends of the chromosome arms fuse together to form a circular structure. In many cases, the genetic material near the end of the chromosome is lost. So these are the structural errors associated with the deletion syndromes. Now the clinical syndrome here, I will like to present a table. These are the syndromes, and usually this is the anomaly, and the incidents are shown in this column. Usually these are the DiGeorge syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, Cadu-Cat syndrome, also known as cat's cry syndrome, and WAGR syndrome. It is abbreviated from the Wilms tumor aniridia gastrourinary problems and mental retardation, and this is very common, and it is on the 11p chromosome. Wolff-Ericson syndrome, Eric-Horn syndrome, and the deletion from the tip of short arm of 4 chromosome, and they are relatively less. Some more syndromes here, you can appreciate the symptoms, and here is the cytogenetic location, which is showing the band where the actual deletion occur. The Engelmann syndrome, Valo-Cardiofacial syndrome, Lord-Gideon syndrome, and Vata and Smith-Magenis syndrome. So these are the examples of structural errors of the chromosome. The preventable causes and the risk factors associated with chromosomal anomalies is the late maternal age at the time of pregnancy lead to non-disjunctions. Radiation causes deletion, translocation, breakage of chromosomes. Infections like congenital rubella and syphilis, they cause the chromosomal errors. Then autoimmune diseases. Some chemical agents like antibiotics and cytotoxic drug may also lead to the chromosomal aberrations. Then risk factor forecasting and genetic testing. This is the management and the strategy of the public health strategy. The risk forecasting, the population risk of having child with minor congenital abnormality is estimated to nearly 14%. That is like skin tags and dimples. Around 2 to 3% of the newborn have a single major malformation like cleft lip and cleft palate or spina bifida that will require extensive medical treatment. Under 1% of the newborn have multiple serious malformations including syndromes. The real occurrence of the malformation is much higher than the estimated, but many of them are aborted spontaneously, especially during the first trimester of the pregnancy. Then the steps for screening and early management. If we look at the steps, the maternal serum screening is very important step. It is done in the first trimester and second trimester. In first trimester, the pregnancy associated plasma protein A and serum human chorionic gonadotrophin level are measured. And then in second trimester, the maternal serum alpha fetoprotein unconjugated estrol and human chorionic gonadotrophins are measured. Then the radiological screening. The radiological screening is the routine ultrasound scan, targeted ultrasound scan, Doppler studies and fetal echocardiography, magnetic resonance imaging MRI. Then invasive procedures, they are important, and the diagnostics, the chorionic villus sampling for biological and karyotyping, and amniocentesis and cardocentesis, fetal blood sampling. Then lastly, the newborn screening must be done for reduction of disease burden of metabolic diseases, congenital defects and syndromes, hearing and vision defects. So these are important steps, and the genetic technology which is used for early diagnosis and management. Then criteria for high risk genetic screenings include advanced maternal age, abnormal screening markers. If the screening markers are abnormal and abnormal ultrasound, then it includes in the high risk criteria. Then previous history of fetus or child with chromosomal abnormalities. Then family history of chromosomal abnormalities or congenital anomalies, and carriers of X-linked recessive disorders, and the patient anxiety for testing, genetic testing. So this is the criteria for screening. Then chorionic villus sampling is done at 8th to 10th week of gestation, and the biochemical and karyotyping is done. Here the villus are accessed and the suction cannula is passed, and the villi, they are extracted, and the fetal cells are used for karyotyping and biochemical testing. Then the other invasive important is the amniocentesis, which is done at 14 to 16 week of gestation, and the biochemical and karyotyping diagnostic is done, and these are usually used to diagnose the Edwards syndrome, Patu syndrome, and Turner-Klinefelter syndromes. So both these tests, the amniocentesis is relatively more commonly used as compared to the chorionic villus sampling. Then estimated sensitivity and positive predictive value. Usually the trisomies, the sensitivity and specificity are very high, and the age above 40, the sensitivity is increased with the age. There is low sensitivity and positive predictive value with the sex chromosome aneuploidy. So this is the sensitivity of these tests. As a conclusion, the chromosomal abnormalities collectively contribute a significant disease burden, generally 5 to 6 per 1,000 live births. Majority of the abnormalities are associated with lifetime physical and mental disabilities. The chromosomal errors arise from preventable causes and risk factors, and they are preventable. Use of genetic technology and genetic counseling play a pivotal role in reduction of chromosomal disease burden. So this is all about this session, and thank you very much for sparing your precious time.